Okay, good afternoon, folks. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I forgot to set something. So it's all right. I've taken I've put a request in for a payment for one of my accounts. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't trading that particular one, or two rather. So hope everyone had a good day yesterday. I had one good trade again. So I've had about 5-6 good days in a row, actually, which is always nice. Sacred geometry. Good day to you, my friend. So at a leg, I haven't quite made this measured leg. We've got some news coming up at 3 o'clock UK time, which is just under 30 minutes. We've got FOMC tonight. We'll be done and dusted by then, but sometimes that day just, you don't know how well the day goes. So, excuse me a sec. It's okay, sorry about that. Thomas Wade's got this as a spiking channel, and he's got this fitting still in it. So whether it is or not, I don't know. But if it is, that will be interesting.
Order submitted.
It's working up that line, so I think that's worth a go. It's actually a failure, trapping some shorts possibly. Sideways will work. You can clearly see working up that line. I'd prefer to see that trigger. Maybe we will here. We'll see. Let's see. It's working up that line. So I'm going to give that one extra tick. Sometimes that'll come to your rescue. Mine's just a bit more risk than I wanted. $400 per account. I'm not the only one in this. Thomas Wade's in it as well. No, is it Thomas? Someone else is in it anyway. It's kind of a second entry short there, which is triggered. Can't see Thomas in it. Someone else is anyway. Let's put it back where it was. I don't risk any more than I need to. There's going to be some shorts there for sure. So maybe we go sideways. We have one leg and a leg. Trouble is we're getting close to tops here. That's the bit that concerns me. It's flickering around a bit here. I don't like this. I think I'm going to get out of this.
Order filled.
Yeah, I just don't like the way it's flickering around. Just out for a tick. It's probably going to work. There's not as much room as I would have liked to the top. It's probably going to work, but it's... it's just my 3 points seemed a million miles away there. So sorry, Devon, how you doing? Tony, how you doing, buddy? I just don't like the way it's flickering around there. I just had to quickly scan for the news. We haven't got any news coming up for 25 minutes, but I don't like the way that's flickering. So I decided to get out of that, and I'm quite glad I did, actually. As soon as we've broken above there, we've come back down. Now, maybe that won't make a difference. But that's fine. No issues anyway. No, it just seems like it's struggling. Yeah, put it this way. Usually I get into a trade and I like it. And there was something about that I stopped liking. So 1, 2, 3. I know a few people took the trade on Thomas Wade to score 3 people. But I usually go for 3 points, and there wasn't the 3 points. And if you go a tick above that, let's say around about there, here, that's a 1.75. It's got to push through. So my 3 points was up here. It would have to get 3.25. So I just wasn't a fan of that. I liked it initially. Trouble is sometimes when you get into a trade a little bit too early, sometimes you don't have as much time to think. So there we go anyway. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? You took it for 2 points. Yeah. The trouble is, we've been going sideways. I like the way it's working up that way, but we haven't got much room to the highs, and I go for 3 points. So, I mean, it may continue on, but for me, I think the best thing to do was to get out of it. To get a payment on one of my accounts anyway, I've got to do 8 days. 5, I believe one of them, 5 of them have got to be $100 or more anyway. So even if I don't take another trade, at least this one is counted as a day. I have applied for a couple of payments, just $1,800, just $500 off 3 of my accounts. There's another account which is around about 4,000, which I'm probably going to get 1,000 from, but I've got to do another couple of days after today. So probably about 4,000 this month, somewhere around there. So that's not a bad month for me, to be fair. We're only with sort of 5 accounts. So Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's nice to get some payments, isn't it? Especially this time of year. But it's, I don't know, sometimes when you get into these trades, I just rely on what something looks like. And for me, it started to look less appealing. We may have a leg and a leg down here. So my gut feeling is it's probably going to stop below there, maybe even there. Excuse me. Let's see if it does. I have a feeling it will. I had to have a quick glance at the news, so that one went and that one went. So it was a good decision to get out anyway. Jan, how you doing, buddy? So it was a good decision to get out there. I don't know, something I stopped liking something there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm reading this wrong. It's just 2 legs up and a little bit sideways. Let's have a look. Some news today. Yeah, we've got some news, in fact. Possible second entry long there, but it's off the bottom. The trouble is, if you have a breakout there, sometimes we can get one on the opposite side. Now, whether I can take that up a little bit, I probably can. There's a touch there, a couple of touches there, 3 touches there, so that might not be too bad. But we have had a breakout at the top, a small break, so we may get one at the bottom. Yeah, news, good point. Let me just make a note of this. Oh, getting some palpitations there. Capitals here. Okay, oh, I'm getting palpitations. Oh, I've had them for a while. Impact news. And I believe all-time highs are up here as well, so I'm going to make a note of that. Just put that there. Give or take a tick. Sorry. Just take that up a little bit more to there. All-time highs. So load up here. Extend right. Apply. Brilliant. Okay. Yes. Now, medium impact news generally doesn't do a great deal. Having said that, just now and again, it can have a little flick. We experienced quite a large one, maybe a month, 6 weeks ago. So I tend to just be aware of those now. But the good thing is the 3 o'clock news I got down here. It's the same time. So and 7 o'clock tonight, FMC, we'll all be done and dusted by then. So leg and a leg. Is this a good long? I'm not sure at the moment. We haven't made a measured leg. So it's a tough one, that. Just to the fell set entry long for 2 points. That one there. Yeah. I'm just a bit unsure about doing anything here at the moment. I kind of like fell break out the top. Well, break out the top, which failed. Break out the bottom. As I mentioned, we often get one. So maybe a bullish bar here wouldn't be a terrible trade. Back to the EMA, but I've got a poor bar, to be honest with you. It's about as well, it's more or less neutral, that. So a higher low off here may not be a bad idea, but if you've, depending on how you look at this, we've got a channel with a break and a new high, so this could come down, so I don't really want to get into a long just yet until I figure out what's going on. No, let's get rid of that. Yeah, if I'd have had a better bar there, I don't think that would have been a bad risk to take long now. Although I take 3 points, if it's a small enough risk, I wouldn't mind going for a 1.5. So it's 2.5 points. And if you got in there a couple of points up to that EMA, that's worth taking, I think. If we'd have had a good bullish bar, but we didn't, unfortunately. Now, channel down, one attempt to go higher. The trouble is, really, this could go up or down. We haven't made a measured leg. As far as a channel, I don't think there's a bigger channel there. It just kind of doesn't make sense. If it is, we've had a break. But I just don't like it. So the problem I have is we have bounced up here a little bit. So there's always a possibility that we could be just laying down range highs. Obviously, we have got FOMC. Sometimes we have FOMC. The market just doesn't do a lot. Okay, I was going to mention Thursday, Friday. I thought it was Friday, obviously. I should be ashamed of myself. It's again, Thanksgiving, isn't it? It's Thanksgiving Thursday. I thought it was Friday. I am not from the US, but I've been trading and talking to US guys enough, so my apologies for getting the day wrong. But it's half day, so channel down, one push higher. My guess is this is probably going to come down. We have made a bunch of highs here and we're struggling to get out. So, yeah, second entry short here, looking right. I may have a go at. Where's this news? We've still got 15 minutes to the news. But that does look like a little channel to me, I think. 1, 2. There's kind of a higher low there. I'd like to see that trigger. But we have got to be careful. We don't want to be stuck down here when this news is coming up. So channel down, one attempt to push higher, second attempt to push higher. Let's see how this finishes. It could also have 2 legs and push back up here.
Order submitted.
Second entry short, possibly. You have got to be a bit careful there. Let's see how it finishes. No, I'm staying out of this just
Order
at the moment.
cancelled.
My gut feeling tells me it's probably going to come down here. Just don't like that bit of wick. Channel down, 2 pushes up, push strong below the EMA. We're going to reach this. I would have suggested below there. Whether we come down for a second leg or not, I don't know. But we have got that news approaching in about 8 minutes. 8, 7, 8, 8. Sorry. About 13 minutes. Sorry, we're a little bit away yet. Interesting to see how the market will respond to the new tariffs in the US next year. You never quite know what it will do to you. Let's just zoom out here. We're still kind of in an uptrend, aren't we? Up, sideways, up, sideways. Maybe this will be a triple test. In all fairness, it's going sideways, isn't it? And we've got the news approaching in 12 minutes. So it may not be the best course of action to get into a trade here at the moment. I mean, it could be a triple test come down, but this Bitcoin had a bit of a drop, didn't it? Come down to about 93,000. I suppose that was inevitable. Where are we now? 92, 92,500. Oh no, sorry, 93 back up to 93. So it has dropped about 7,000. Can't keep going straight up. It had to come back a little bit. Interesting to see how far it goes in this, but yeah, that's the problem with that one. See, push up, sideways, push up. You never quite know when it's going to go around the middle here. We didn't get a triple test anyway, but it is a leg and a leg. We have got this news coming up, so yeah, I'm not sure about that. Trouble is, as I say, we could just be making range highs. If it's trying 3 times to get up, it may just give up the ghost, come down. But it is going sideways and the news is coming in 10 minutes, so you don't really want to get stuck in a trade there. If you're young and you're in for a point, that's not such a problem. So leg, the break, and a leg. Let's bring this into my eye view now. I've got a tendency to forgetting that's there. What news is it? It's consumer confidence. So it's all right. I was just looking for a bigger channel. It was just interesting to see what this may do. We have got a measured move there, so whether it will go higher. Okay, news is coming up in just under 9 minutes. touch. I mean, there's a possibility we could have a second leg up. It's interesting how it's working up that line, which if you line it up from there, it touches, there's kind of three separate sections there, which all come into contact with that line. And then when you look up or across, we've also got 1, 2, 3 separate sections. So maybe there's a bigger channel, but I do need to be aware that this could also fail and come back into what could be a range as well. So I'm sitting tight. Obviously, news coming up in 7 or 8 minutes. It's not wise to get into a trade now, especially when this market's moving as slow as it is. When's the news? 7 minutes. Okay, so that trade would have worked. Sometimes you best leave them in, but I don't mind getting out of trades. I don't often do it. Plenty of space there. Was it here I was in? It was here, wasn't it? Or was it? Was it here? No, Satellite was here, wasn't it? It was here I was in. Yeah, it was. It was just after them. Sorry, miles away. Yeah. I can adjust this a fraction. No, in fact, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't like it. This is just more... No, it doesn't look like a channel to me. It's just 2 pushes up. Thomas Wade's got it like... It's attaching these two to there. So he's got it like that. And down here somewhere is a spike and a channel. It may be we've had a new high if that's the case. So I'm not a fan of that. I mean, if I drag it down there, no, I'm just not a fan of that. Shady things up, yeah. Sometimes I've traded the odd evaluation on the news, and sometimes you sit there with everything locked and loaded, and it does nothing, so you never quite know. I don't pay attention to exactly what the news is so much. Just the fact that it's there and I need to avoid it. Consumer confidence. I don't know what consumer confidence is at the moment in the US. Is it good? I suppose it's good. Interest rates coming down. We're heading towards Christmas. You tend to think consumer confidence is not too bad at the moment. Trump's tariff announcements and consumer confidence can be impacted. That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm surprised how long it takes to get Trump into office. Remind me when it is. How long does it take? It's a lot quicker in the UK. I mean, you're out within a couple of days in the UK, literally. I mean, within, if they decide that, I don't know, the decision's made up, you've got the removal vans in there filling trucks up and they're out quick. The new leader makes his way around to Buckingham Palace. All the official stuff's done there, and that's more or less it. It's January. Yes, it's quite a time, isn't it? When was it? The 5th, wasn't it? So it's the 5th. So 5th of November, 5th January, 5th December. 5th, so it's 2.5 months, isn't it, at least? That's quite a long time. It just kind of doesn't make sense, does it? But I don't know, perhaps it takes time to unload official stuff. But I know in the UK, you literally boot it out on your arse. It's pretty quick. Sam, how you doing, my friend? Happy Thanksgiving. It is Thursday, I think, isn't it? I thought it was Friday. I looked on my calendar downstairs and it says it's on Thursday. So I did have an email from Ninja Trader or the CME Group or whoever it was. I think it was Ninja Trader, just saying that I think the market's close half day. So I'll come to the charts and I'll see what they're like. But if they're dead, I might as well just knock on the head. Okay, news is coming up in 3 minutes. So yeah, I'll turn up as normal. And if I don't know, I'm guessing it's quite a big holiday in the US, isn't it? So I'm guessing there's going to be some eating and some drinking. So people probably don't feel much like working. So I'll come to the charts as normal, and then we'll see what it's like. And if it's dead, then we may have a chat. I may have a whiskey. We may have a chat or something, and we'll have a short day. So that's Thursday and Friday. Yeah, so it's pretty much going sideways. I wonder if that is to do with the news. You'd possibly think so, wouldn't you? It's going within, what, 7-point range, something like that. So if there is a channel, we've had one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, maybe this will go up. This is Thomas Wade's chart at the moment. I don't know why he's posted it twice. So he's got a channel like that with a break and a new high, but we could have two legs and it may go higher. I got no idea. I'm not a fan of that channel, I don't think. Doesn't look bad on his screen, but on mine, I don't like it. I'm not sure why. He tends to stretch everything out. His bars are a lot thinner than mine and tends to stretch everything out. Sometimes his channels fits and mine doesn't, so that may have something to do with the fact that everything's a bit stretched out. Okay, news just under a minute. FMC later, maybe the market will take it slow until then. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't make a difference. Other times it's slow and stagnant. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's pretend we're doing an evaluation here, and we got an order above it, an order below it. So we got to get 6 points, haven't we? So let's see if it works. So that's 6 points, and we got to get 6 points from the top, which is there. So it's not doing a lot, I don't think. Up to the top and rejected there. So not massive, really. Okay, so I'm in the trade. That's down and back for 6 points. So the trade triggered and stopped out. So it wouldn't have worked, that. That would have been the entry. It got down to about 4 points and pulled back. So I'm finding they're not working as much. Okay, so up to the top, big drop, and then a pullback. So that news is done. We've got some. I'm not going to bother marking the 7 o'clock one. I'll be done. Plenty of time before that comes about. Sometimes I'll come back and have a look and just see what happens. But I am trying to stay away from the charts in the evening. I do my little bit of study time where I look at my chart, look at Max, look at Marco's, look at a few others, think about what I did right, what I did wrong, what I missed, what I took, what I didn't take. So I usually reserve about 30, 35, 40 minutes for that, and then I try then and finish and get away from the charts. I think it's important to get some downtime. You can get a bit obsessed with this, and it can feel like it's taking over your life. And most of us have got a family, so you have to keep that in mind. I know my daughter's moaned sometimes. She went, "You're always studying. You trade for 3 hours, and then you and you're looking at charts for an hour later, I'm saying, well, that is only a 4-hour day. If I was out working, I'd be working considerably more hours than that. But it is good to have some time off. Fill the gap, no all-time highs possible, yeah. So it is kind of a leg and a leg. We have dropped out the bottom. We got a bullish bar there, so it's quite a large bar. I'm guessing that is. It's got to be at least 5 points. So maybe a higher low there. I don't know. I'm sitting tight here, I think. You know, when you get that feeling the market's going to be slow. There is a second entry short forming on my other chart, but we're kind of in the middle there, so you don't know whether we're going up. Second, so that we had that push down, recover. Yeah, there is a second entry short there, but I'm sitting tight here. It may work, it may not work. I don't want to take a trade right in the middle of that lot, especially after that news. That news kind of distorts the price a little bit. Before adding more, that's a good question, mate. So I'm okay. I've done multiple different ways of doing this. I've been up to 20 accounts before, and for me, at my level, I think the best way is to have 5 accounts. It's not enough pressure to cause you problems, and my plan is to get the 5 accounts to $5,000, and then aim to add another 5. So when they're at $5,000, they're at a comfortable level where you can relax a bit and hopefully take a regular payment every month, even if it's $1,000. You know, I can't remember the last time I didn't do $1,000 in a month. And out of those 5 accounts, even if you can get whatever on top of that 5,000, 1,000, 1,500, whatever you get, that will start to give you a regular payment. And then I think that's the time then to add more. Adding 20 in one go for me is just too much. Have you noticed Wilson's? I think Wilson's lost his accounts again. He's got rid of everything, and he's putting points instead of pounds or instead of dollars. So my guess is he's struggled again. I think 20 is just too much. It adds too much pressure. If you have a bad day, it's too stressful. So for me, I think the best way for me forward is just to have these 5. I'm taking a payment now. One's at $4,000, the other one's at just under 3,000. So I'm taking $500 just from 3 of them, just to give me a little bit of, so I've earned something. So, you know, a little pat on the back, and that'll take him down to 2,200, and that's, you know, comfortable enough. And then over the next month, I want to try and take another 1,000. So for me, 5,000. What I'd like to do is say, okay, I've got 5,000 now. Whatever I make over the next 4 weeks, I'll pay myself, obviously up to 2,000. That way I always kind of have 5,000 in there. That's the slow build up and use profits to pay for new account. Absolutely. So what I'll do is take a little bit myself, pop it in the bank, maybe half of it. And then with the rest, kind of add to it. But I think if you can get 5, because the trouble is, the downside The downside to prop firms is you start with nothing and you've got to make money. Now, if you've got nothing to lose, it's very easy to take a risk. There's a failure there, short. A long failure. There's a higher low there, so you can guess there's going to be buyers there and there. But at the moment, it's still a bit unclear as whether we're going up. So I'm just going to sit tight there. So, yeah, if you can get to $5,000, you can relax a bit and let that work for you. But, yeah, the downside to prop firms is when you start from zero, you're not risking anything, really. You're risking $85. And it's common sense. The less you risk, the less care you're going to take. It's just, we're human beings. It's a fact of life. So, if you put 5,000 your own money in there, you can actually start making money straight away. And I think you naturally go into more protection mode. But while you're building up there to that 2,600 plus level, we take way more risks than we should, simply because we've got nothing to lose. Still better have prop firm money than your own. Absolutely 100%. 100%. Absolutely. I would say never put your own money in until you can make consistent money on a prop firm. And then when you can do that, I would say then take some of your prop firm earnings and then transfer that over to your own account and start to grow that at a time. There's no point in risking more until you're making consistent money. And if you're doing that, money really should start to follow you then. It's just a matter of branching out from the prop firm to your own account, but still using both, absolutely. I mean, prop firms are a little gold mine. But yeah, if I can get to 5,000, then I think I'll add 5 more, and that way with those 5 accounts you've got, even if you're taking $1,000 a month, still $5,000 a month. It's not pocket change, and it's enough to start to say that you can get consistent then. And I think that's when your confident level starts to feel, actually, I can actually do this. Because there is so many failures in trade, and it's very hard sometimes to sort of have that belief that, you can do this. It's all right. Someone's popped a channel there. I actually kind of like that. I'm not concerned about that because that was a spike. So maybe this is just a range, and we've just obviously exhausted that, the attempts to move higher. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I like the way it's touching. But to trust it fully, not just yet. What happens when they move to your live account? That's a good question, mate. I've never really thought about that. I don't exactly know how it works. Do they lump you? Because I think what they're trying to do now, because if you're on a you've got 20 accounts and you're making a ton of money, they're paying you a ton of money, aren't they? So they switch it to live. That kind of adds an extra bit of pressure to you, doesn't it? So I've not thought about it, to be honest with you, Sean. Was after the 6 withdrawal, once you go. Yeah, I don't know whether they lump everything together. I'm not quite sure. I mean, you've always got the option to go to another prep firm and you can do that. If you can make consistent money, it doesn't matter too much where you make your money. But I've not thought about it too much. If the time comes, I'll kind of take it and see what they offer, see what they say. Incidentally, is anybody in the stream that is already on a live account? Okay, so it did drop out. I thought it may do. So it's a 6 withdrawal, isn't it? So my plan is to get a withdrawal once a month. I'm not too concerned with getting a withdrawal twice a month. If it happens, it happens. But I'd rather just take one once a month. Theoretically, you've got 6 months then. 6 months of payments. See, I don't know how it works. I mean, if by the time your sixth payment, what do you go on to just a live account on the ones above 6 months? Or do they say, okay, you've got 10 accounts, 3 of them you've now hit 6 months, we put you all onto it? I don't quite know how it works. Patch your live now, still PAs here. Yeah, so enough getting the PAs going. Yeah, it does take time, bud. But not sure if I'd take live account with prop firm. I don't see the advantages over the personal. No, I mean, for me, I would have to have regular payments. In other words, consistency before I started putting my own money. So if I could start getting consistent 3, 4, 5, let's say 6 months in a row, consistency, you'll know in your own mind whether you're ready for it, I think. If you get to the stage, or if you're at the stage where you think, I wouldn't trust it, I think it's simple, isn't it? If you believe you can do it, you'll probably put money into your own account, even if it's a small amount, and do it at the same time. If you've still got doubts, you probably wouldn't. So I think you probably, you're kind of going to know when the time's right, I think. Top step on Twitter, they say we're thinking of incentives for live traders, salaries, bonuses. Really? I always kind of had that impression that they didn't really want you on live accounts. I mean, let's say we're going back a couple of years. They wanted to make money from failed traders. That's how I kind of saw it. So let's say I'm a struggling trader and I'm paying, I don't know, $100 per month in failed evaluations. They're not making a huge amount from me. Many people, yeah, absolutely. So if I move on to a live account and I make, let's say, $5,000 per month, they make 10%, so which is $500 a month. So straight away, that's 5 times what they were making off me when I was just a trader failing accounts. And that doesn't include if they want to copy your trades, because if you've got a guy who's talented enough and has got the skills to make regular, consistent monthly payments, and you can look at his account opening and go, this guy knows what he's doing, then they can make more money by copying. So I don't know exactly how they do it. You hear rumours, but, I think ultimately, will we ever know? But, yeah, it kind of, now I think about it a little bit more, it kind of does think perhaps they are going to make a lot more money from a trader who knows what he's doing. So maybe that's how it'll work. Maybe, who knows? I'll tell you if I ever get there. I believe I will. I'm getting more and more belief as the months go by. But it does take time. When you've failed hundreds and hundreds of evaluations, it's very, very hard to think, I can actually do this. And they do say a lot of times when you hear, when you read books about the psychological side, you need to have belief you can do it. And I think it's hard when there's so many times you're going to fail initially. But I think if you stay at it, as your skills are getting better and better, you're going to get to the point where you start to get that belief. So there's a second entry short there, and it's a very small risk. So I'm going to have a go at this. 2.25 points. It is a second entry short, leg up, leg up. We have tested this line, so I think that's okay. So I'm going to take that. Not massive risk. There's going to be some longs off here, I would have thought so, isn't there? So it's not a massive risk, so I think I'll take it anyway. Oh, look, it's coming back on me. See how we get on. You took it for 2 points. You certainly got the 2 points. I waited for 3. It may get me. In fact, it's actually less than a 2.25 risk because it's a couple of ticks lower. Perhaps because it was a smaller risk, I should have come out a bit. But I'm just going to give that 1 extra tick. Sometimes it'll take it out and come back. It is 2 legs up in a bearish bar. It came down for plenty. So see if that extra tick saves me. It might do. If it doesn't, it is what it is. No point worrying about it. By looking at it now, it may just shoot quickly. And maybe some stops there and some stops there. Who knows? We may get lucky. Let's see. That's encouraging. So it didn't break above there. Now that's encouraging. So that's a lower high now. So maybe we will get our rewards here. Let's see if this triggers. If this does come back, I'm going to bring it tight. In fact, I'll bring it now. I've given it enough time to do that. Let's see if it works. It does look like a channel to me. I like the setup. I've just got to trust it. I mean, there is a bit of support down here, so maybe it won't. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Come on, push down. Sometimes you've just got to get it, take it, and trust it. It's come back on me, so hopefully. Go on, push through. I hate it when it bounces back. Sometimes you've got to try. Okay, lovely. That worked nice. So second entry short, lower high. Now, if it's a good enough setup, when the bar comes back, it won't take you out, and it didn't take me out, so I'm guessing it was a good enough setup. But it confirmed the top of that beautifully. You can see one leg, second leg. So it did what it was supposed to. Sometimes it does unnerve you coming back, but there you go. Stuff happens sometimes, doesn't it? High, sorry, yeah. Lower high was... if I didn't take the one, I'd have took the lower high. Cheers, guys. But yeah, it does. I'm not too concerned with that because it's a spike due to that news, but it worked nice for 3 points. So let's call that second entry shorts. Loss. It was also market open levels, so multiple key levels. I'll have to take your word for that, bud. So let's have a look at this. So yeah, this is probably, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, we got overnight highs here. I didn't see that. So as we push down, we kind of, if you look at that, you're right. Should have paid attention to that. It's actually coming back up and bouncing off the overnight highs. So that... if I'd have noticed that, I probably would have had a little bit more. I probably would have felt a little bit more comfortable taking it. But yeah, we push down and we do bounce. We bounce the first time, we bounce the second time. But they don't. If you look back at some of my old trades, when I used to win a trade, I used to talk like mad for about 20 minutes because I was that excited that it worked, or relief. Things are a lot calmer now. I try and not get too excited and try and just get on with it. So I only actually traded 3 of my accounts. The other 2 I've put a payment in, so I didn't really want to trade those, but there we go. So I'm still up $927 on the 3 accounts. That's okay, but one of them's over 4,000 now, so they're all building up nice. So, so we get on now. So yeah, it was clearly 2 legs, 1 push up, come back, second push up. So it's 2 little legs, and it was a small bar actually. I think I risking 2.5 points, and I was in a couple of ticks. It's a couple of ticks lower than I should have been. So the bar from top to bottom was 1.25 points, so it was a small risk. So I think that was definitely worth it, even just for the fact off the top of here. Popsicle looking bar, what was the trap of that? Yeah, it was. Yeah, the lower high was okay as well. In fact, that was better, I think. Not only that, it's under here as well. We pushed down below that. So I've had actually a good couple of weeks. Whether it's just I've settled a bit. But it felt, yeah. I mean, the trouble is, ultimately, it's not nice taking losses. But if I sometimes I have to sit and think about how I used to feel and how I used to act. Sometimes I'll watch a couple of my old videos and just pick out the points where I lost trades and just try and listen to myself and see how I reacted. But so many times I used to say, okay, that's it for the day. And the second I shut the stream down, I would go bye, or sell, or whatever the case may be. I would jump straight back in. I had no control. Now I have a little bit. I still have my Guardian Angel trader set to 1 loss a day. At least then I can, limit any type of damage. I try not to call it damage, because, losing is a part of trading. It's going to happen. It happens to the best out there. So I try and avoid the word damage or loss or something like that. It's just an expense, really, I suppose, is the best way of looking at it. I think it was Nick Sesto that said to me, it's just a business expense. If you've got a business and you've got a vehicle that, I don't know, a clutch goes on it and you've got to cough up $1,000 to pay for a new clutch, you don't think about it. It's part of business. It's got to be done. So whereas you lose a trade, it kind of feels like your life's falling apart when you first start. But it does get better and it doesn't hurt as much, but it does take time. It's a very slow process. It has been for me. I don't doubt there are people out there who've picked it up a lot quicker. The skill thing takes time. Like any job that's a real skill, it does take time and experience, to go over these things again and again. But I think I've probably taken longer than most to deal with the psychological side. I would say that has probably been my most weakness. The skill sort of comes along. The skill kind of feels secondary because most of your focus when you're learning is how the losses are making you feel. You tend to forget that your skill level is constantly improving, but you tend to not focus on that. And I think if I was to tell a newer trader now, or I don't want to say younger self, but if I could tell myself as a newer trader, just keep it in mind that yes, you are losing trades, but you don't half get some an advantage from losing those trades, because it is how you learn, and it really is. There's no two ways about it. It's not talk. I'm not saying it to make people feel better. When you lose trades, you learn more than you do when you win trades. It's a fact. But it does take time, and it's very hard to sort of manage. You have to manage that mood as well, because I found at times it affects my mood. I spent quite a bit of time feeling miserable a lot, and it's not pleasant. It's not nice to feel like that, like I kind of feel like I felt like an alcoholic or a gambler throwing his life savings away. I kind of felt like that. Not so much for the financial side, because I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of commissions, which has helped paying for a lot of it. But purely that lack of control, it's a horrible, sickening feeling. There's nothing worse than, saying at the start of the day, okay, if I take a loss, I'm walking away, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, you've taken a loss and bam, you're in a trade and the account's gone. Horrible, sickening feeling. And unfortunately, I don't really have it anymore. We all have those moments from time to time, but Guardian Angel traders help me. So if there is any newer traders out there, or you are struggling with blown accounts, absolutely consider Guardian Angel Trader. It physically stops you from trading. There's nothing you can do. It's like, most of us have been on a diet sometime in my life. It's very easy to say I'm going to start my new diet tomorrow when you've just, swallowed a family-sized pizza. It's easy. But come tomorrow, when that pizza's digested and you're kind of left feeling hungry. So it's definitely helped me, that Guardian Angel Trader. It does kind of force you to get out those bad habits. The prop firms, as great as they are, provide us with very cheap evaluations, and cheap means less care, and that's the side of it. Lock me out too now, one and done. I think that is the best option. I didn't want to do that before because I wanted to keep trading and keep trying to make money, but that was just the panic inside of me saying, no, I want my money back. I would still say trade, just either go on to an evaluation or go on to a sim, but I think it's still, for me, part of my day is about getting screen time. I like to try and get 2.5 to 3 hours of screen time every day, because, you will just keep improving and keep developing and keep learning. So it's important not to just walk away, I think. But, as for the losses, absolutely, I think that's a sensible idea. Most of the time now, I won't take another trade on this now. I'm happy with 3 points. Absolutely. Screen time and study, you will improve without really realising it, but you'll get yourself into a situation. I find it now quite a lot of the times. I see a second entry, but something doesn't feel right. And I can't stress enough how that experience is telling you something's not right. You've been down this road before and it didn't end well. And so many times, even a bad trade, you could close your eyes and press buy, sell and win money. But you can't do it consistently. So, just because the trade worked didn't mean it was a good entry. But after a while, when that experience builds, that's the voice you listen to. When something says to you, something doesn't feel right, that's the time to pull the plug and sit on the sidelines and let it. Doesn't matter whether it wins or loses. That's the time to just, sit back and just stay away from it. It is hard to listen to that voice initially. You've got that urge to want to do, but that does slowly leave you. But the thing is with trading, all this happens in very, very slow pace. So you don't get that flick of a switch. I'm a bad trader now, I'm a good trader. You slowly start to sort of, it's that kind of seesaw effect. This line's a seesaw. Here's your emotions and here's your skill. And when you start, your skill's down here and your emotions up here. And slowly over time, that seesaw levels out. And that's when you start to get that realism that, okay, I can actually do this. And then things change. Your skill level continues to rise, and then your emotions and that realism that you're not being completely controlled by your emotions starts to decline, but it takes time. I had no idea that it would take me this long. 4 years it's taken me now. I thought in a year I'm going to be in a stack of money. Well, I thought in a month. I gave my job up after about 5 weeks. Just because it looks so easy. Market's going down. How hard can it be to sell? If only it were that easy. So there looks like a triple test there. Channel down, 2 pushes up. No way Alpine has stopped streaming. I think somebody told me he was ill. Whether that's anything to do with it, I don't know. I'm sure someone said he'd been poorly. It's been a couple of weeks. That does seem a long time to stay away. It's been struck down by. There you go. Okay. Flu. Yes, funny enough, actually, I know we're in the UK, but my daughter's had what we think is the flu. She's 16, so she's quite young and healthy, and it's knocked her for 6. Me and my wife both have the COVID jab and the flu jab because we both got asthma. Not bad, but it's one of the perks is we get the flu jab as well. So, but whether it's sort of, I don't know whether it works globally, but yeah, he's a young enough guy, isn't he? He's a young enough guy. You're all right at that age. It's when you're very young or very old that it starts to become a problem. But yeah, I heard he was. So hopefully, we wish him well. He'll be back and fighting fit soon. I don't know what's going on here. Whether this thing's going up or down. In fact, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take a quick break. My mouth is a bit dry, so I've been out this morning, so I haven't drunk much. So I'm just going to take a quick 3 to 5. Why is that moved? I'm just going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break, make a quick cup of tea, and I'll be back. Okay, channel down, one attempt to go higher. Let's see if we get a second attempt. There is a possibility. Touch, 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 touch. There may be something bigger there. See if we get a second entry short. It's hard to say, really. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. So channel break, new low. Well, actually matching low. So we've pushed up once, pushed up a second time. Two attempts to push higher. That is tempting.
Order submitted.
Touch, 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 touch. That's interesting. That is. How big is that? 7 ticks. No, I don't like that. I don't think that's that terrible.
Order cancelled.
The bar I wasn't a massive fan of, but there could quite likely touch, 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 and it's fit nice at the bottom. See if we get a lower high there. There is a higher low there, which may trap some traders. Okay, there's a failure there, short failure that's triggered. Channel down, one attempt. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So channel, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Up to that midline. Leg and a leg. Okay, leg and a leg. How long have you been trading on the futures market? How long has it been since you learned to make money consistently? I wouldn't have said I have made money consistently. I'd say I'm better now than I have been. So I've been trading as from a complete beginner 4 years ago this Christmas. I did 6 months of currency with a guy called Andrew Lockwood from the UK, who was a who was a currency trader in the London Stock Exchange during the 80s, and then he went kind of, I actually don't mind that, a leg and a leg, bearish bar, but I'm just going to see if we get a lower high. And then I came onto futures accidentally, like a lot of you. I saw those two guys trading it, Riley Coleman and Michael Chin. I saw those two trade in one chart, and if anybody's traded any, if anybody's ever traded any currency, you've got screens everywhere. You've got multiple time frames, multiple currency pairs. You kind of spend most of your time looking for a trend to trade. It was okay. It was interesting, but when I saw a guy trading one chart, one time frame, I kind of thought that sounds like something I'd be interested in, and it was a little bit quicker as well. And I've been doing that now through 3.5 years basically, but it's taken time. As I was saying earlier, I've had problems with taking losses, but my skill level's improving now, and my emotional input is starting to decrease. So I'm in a better place now, and I have been taking my time a little bit more. So I didn't have a payment last month. I had $1,000 a month before. I had a couple of $1,000 a month before. Nothing but that month. I think I think I'd had $9,000 up until about June. I think I've had about $16,000 this month so far. I have put in for $1,800 now, and after today, another $1,000 on one account, another $500 on another account. So I guess I'll end the year probably somewhere around about $40,000, which is more or less, I don't know, the average year's salary, I suppose it is in the UK. Due to those yeah, they did. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. So I'll probably earn about 40,000 this year. I earned 12,000 last year. So, but I think you kind of get to a place where you think, now I'm settling. I'm enjoying my trade. I'm accepting a loss to a degree. No. I would say I have spent probably this year, maybe, I did write it all down. I have got it all down. Put it this way, about £28,000, which is about, I don't know, $35,000 that it's cost me completely. That includes absolutely everything. Losing $5,500 of my own money, all the computer equipment, desks, screens, all that sort of stuff. But this year, I think I've put about 5,000 or 6,000 into Apex. And I'll come out around about 40,000, maybe 1,000 or so more. So I suppose realistically about $35,000. So it's a wage. It's a wage, and it's 3 times what I earned last year. So hopefully, if the maths are the same for next year. But the trouble is with me, I've been trying to grow too quick, and I think it's pretty common with traders, isn't it? They try and grow too quick. They take on too much risk. They take on too many accounts, and they can't deal with the emotions of it. And I'm speaking from experience there, because I know I've struggled with the emotions. It's like anything. You take on too much, and you're asking for trouble. I wish Matt would do an interview with someone. Yeah, I do as well. Would love to hear his story. I know it will never happen. You never know, he may do. He wrote a little... He did, didn't he? Yeah. In fact, I think it was you sent me a copy of it, Jan. Yeah, he did. It was a brief rundown of how he started. So yeah, it would be nice. I'm hoping he is planning on retiring, I think, in the next couple of few years, and it would be nice, maybe someone like Marco can have a chat with him or something. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Or I'd like him to have an on the chart chat, so people can watch him he doesn't necessarily have to trade. He could just have a chat and answer some questions. And it'd be nice. I'd love to see him talk about what he's seeing when, he sees his market playing out. He's going to Antarctica in February, is he really? More tips in the future and enjoy life more. Yeah, I'd love him to just like me, just have a trade. He doesn't need to take any trades if it's, if he doesn't like trading, but just say us what he's seeing, answer a few questions, and just have a bit of a chinwag with him. You're kind of always wanting to get... Now, I did karate for years, for about 17 years, until I ended up knackering a knee. And I used to drive about 60 miles once a week to train with a Japanese guy called Sakagami. He was one of the first guys that came over here in the 60s, and a really old guy. But it was just that something special about getting into the head of, one of the guys that brought over. It was kind of special to me. So it would be nice to just have an open chat with Mac, and just to, I think we could get so much more information just having a quick chat with him. It's been nice to follow your journey. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. So you started streaming. I'm done for the day. Yeah, you have a great day, mate. You have a great day. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's definitely been I really never understood the meaning of the word journey until I started to trade, but it's been easy for me having you guys here to chat with every day, because it can be pretty lonely, this business. You can be stuck in a little room by yourself, and it is nice to have some people to chat with and get to know. And I chat with a lot of you guys outside as well. And I've said before, I'm happily to chat trading. I was chatting with Sean earlier this morning. So if any of you guys ever want to private message me or email me, whatever, just for a chit chat, any questions, or you're having a bad day or whatever, I'm happy to do that. I'd rather do it than not. So don't feel like I'm just saying that just to be nice. I'll talk trading all day long. So if I can help you, I'm happy to do it. A retirement party. That would be cool, wouldn't it? That would be cool. Or meet up. That would be really cool. In fact, there's a UK trader I just watch once in a while. The Scruffy Trader, they call him. And he has a few guys, which he calls his squad, that he chat, and they all went over to Spain, I think, for a bit of a conference and a chat, and just a piss up, basically. So it would have been nice to do something like that. You're very sweet, Karina. Thank you very much. It is nice to get to know people, and I know sometimes you think, you guys, I don't know who you are, but I chat with you every day, and I think about what we've talked about and comments and that in my downtime. I don't just walk away from you guys and completely ignore you. I chat with people all the time, because I enjoy doing it. There is a higher... Oh, it's a tough one, that, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if Marco... no, tell a lie, I'm not Marco. What was I saying? If Thomas Wade took that, but to be honest with you, it's a little bit congested. But no, I love talking to you guys as well. I really do. You learn more if you're mixing with people, because you can, learn what they know and they learn what you know, and it does make for... It makes for a much better working day, rather than being stuck in a room on your lonesome. Anybody take that, did they? We have come off the bottoms. I think there's a good chance we get up here, so channel up with the break. The bit that put me off is it's a little bit stacked, and you don't know whether that's going to come down and break. I don't think it will. Okay, someone took it. You took it. Second entry long. Yeah. The bit that just made me a bit nervous was this thing is, because I've already taken a trade, I can guarantee I'm going to end the day in profit. So if anything isn't perfect or near as, and there is 4 bars stacked side by side, so you may get another leg down. I hope you don't. Second entry long. I hope it pushes up for you. If it makes you feel better, he took it, and I bet there'll be a few more as well. Someone else was looking at it, so you're not on your own if you took it. There's reasons to take that one, absolutely. It's just because I've taken a trade, I'm just super cautious, and you drop the limit order for it. Yeah, if you can do that, if something doesn't seem quite right, but you still think it'll work, you can do that. Put a limit order back here. You may only risk 1.5 points then. And the good thing is, if you can get in a few ticks earlier, it doesn't have to go as high before you get your money. It is holding. My slight concern is that it just has another drop, but I think you may be safe there. We'll see. See, technically, we've had 2 legs up. But that's the only reason that I stayed out of that. Now, if I hadn't have taken a trade, I may well have taken it. But that was just a little more risky for me. If it was an evaluation, 100% I'd have taken it. Because I do think it's maybe slightly more aggressive, but a trade that would probably work. Yeah, it's funny enough, as I've just said that, he's just said I'd take it on an eval low. Yeah, I agree with that. Another reason that it's broken above that bearish bar there, and it hasn't had a little bit more of a move there. Actually, someone has just put that down there as well, so maybe there's a bit of a... See, that would make me not take it even more. My concern was always a leg and a leg down, just because it's a little bit stacked. But what I can do is, if I put that like that, that might make you feel a bit better. May work. It looks like it's working. So put it this way, at least you've got plenty of time to take a point or 2 points there, haven't you? So it hasn't shot down. So if you took it a tick above there, you've got something, haven't you? Even if you're not sure about it, you've had enough time to get something. So but yeah, it's a good idea, ILO. Yeah, see, that ILO for me, problem with that is it's so far from that EMA. I know it's touched it, but if you're entering here, you really want to be out by the tops, don't you, from a Pat's point of view? And to be honest with it, it's gone too far for me to get in there. It could come down and stop you out there from that bar. I prefer that bar there sat on top of that line for me to take that as a higher low. It's just the whole move's gone a little bit too far for me. This other chart's looking quite different. That looks nice and bullish there. So this chart looks actually a little bit stronger, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it looks a little bit stronger, that does. Yeah, I prefer that higher low a little bit lower, because to me, it's already made the move, really. But that's just personal. It's not to say it won't work, or so, you know, maybe someone would take it. So yeah, there's one I know for sure taking it. Blue collar, I know you've taken it. Matt's taken it on. He's about to have his profit, I think, now. In fact, he may even be out. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's out there now. So it did work. See, I would call that just slightly more aggressive. And I tend to not take the aggressive ones because I still don't like taking losses. But that's got comfortably 2 points, I'd have suggested. Yes, comfortably. So you'd have to push through to there. So 2 points. I don't think it was a terrible trade. The only thing that put me off it a little bit was just this little thing here. Sometimes we go down, we go across, we come down. It's like a mirror image, isn't it? Down, across, down. And if it goes across a little bit, which it has, that makes me a little bit nervous. But we are kind of in a range, and you'd think this would be the likely target, this area here. So, you've got to put those little calculations together in your head, and then you kind of make a decision, don't you? It's very much range and tight after one winner of the day. Yeah. I would say there's nothing worse I hate more than giving back profits. So I'll only take another trade if I see an absolute beauty. And that, to me, there was reasons why it would fail. I remember having a conversation with Mac via email, and he told me, look for a reason to not take the trade. So why might it not fail? And that's the first thing that came to my head. It's like a leg down. So we got kind of like a little leg down. Now we have had a break and a new low, so that's one thing that's going for it. But it is, like Max says, 3 or more bars stacked side by side. Now, although that's more or less a bullish pin bar, on my other chart, it's more of a full bar. So there is 4 bars, and as we know, sometimes we'll get a push down, move across, and a push down, and vice versa. So that's the only reason that stopped me taking that trade. If I wouldn't have already had a trade, then I may have had a go, but that might not have made me 3 points. Yes, it would have done just. So, but it is very much ranging at the moment, isn't it? No argument there. And I'm guessing it's quite possibly because FOMC tonight. Sometimes it'll do that, and then we'll come back later, and price will be up here or something. So yeah, this does to me look like the effects of FOMC. We've had a few changes lately, haven't we? You've had a change in government. Crypto markets absolutely took off. There's been a rate cut, so I suppose you can understand people saying, let's see what happens. And we are floating as well, just under all-time highs. Well, it'll be 20 points less than that, 17 points under all-time highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did more of this. This is not a terrible place to trade, actually. I don't think so. It's bouncing more or less the same place, which doesn't often happen, does it? And it's a big enough range to not be, caught out. So it's 14 points from top to bottom. So there's plenty of places to get some profits. And we bounced there. We had a little breakout there, but that came in, obviously news, but it shot up and bounced at the same place. And now it looks like we're doing the same sort of thing. So channel break, 2 pushes to a new high, maybe a lower high. It might be an option for you. It's hard to say. I mean, you can clearly see this area here is there's definitely sellers there, especially with the channel break. Let me just check. There's not something larger there. I don't think there is. So channel break 1, 2 pushes to a new high. In fact, there was a very small risk bar there. Let's just do this. Do you think there's a bigger channel using pre-market lows? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Let's a little bounce off there. So channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. There's a little bearish bar there. It's only 5 ticks. Let's have a look. There could be. Let me have a look. There is someone on Thomas Wade's forum. I do when it does that. It's gone from there. There may be, but I'm not sure at the moment. It just doesn't. Initial leg fits well. Yeah, I mean, it has bounced 3 times. The trouble is we're actually going across as opposed to up. So not at the moment, but if I come back in half an hour and price is up here, I'll draw that. Sometimes people will say there's a channel there and I'll put it and think, no, I don't like it. And later on it's back. So we could be bounce off the top and then bounce. It's a bit too early at the moment. The trouble is if you have a channel like that, you'll be waiting for it to get down here before you can take a long. So the one before this, you mean from there? Hang on, mate, something like that, are you? Something like that, yeah? You know about something like that? No, pre-market lows. Wait, go on the time frame on my chart. Where are you starting it from? Extend it to current candle. Oh, I see what you mean. Are you on about from there? I just put that, didn't I? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yeah, just like I mentioned, he's got it like that. Oh no, tell a lie, hasn't. Someone else has. I'm not sure is the answer. It's a bit too wide at the moment, that. You wouldn't really do that, I don't think. It's too wide. It's more 2 legs up and sideways. So I would say no. Now, if we come back here later and price is up here at the top, then maybe it is. But no, it's too big for me, that is. But that's my personal feelings. But it's too early. I think that's the key, rather than it's not right. Sometimes it's easier to get focused on that this thing's going long, and it may not. Yeah, I do this a lot of the time. Someone will say there's a thing there, and I go, maybe, but not yet. So it may develop. But the trouble is, sometimes if you have that, and what I've found is your bias straight away is long. And that may not be the case. So if you get rid of it, at the moment we've got 2 legs up, and this is just going sideways. So I don't want to be focused on long at the moment, because it is just ranging. So I am aware we've got FOMC coming up in about 3 hours, and a lot of the times it does this up to FOMC. It just goes stagnant. So at the moment I would be inclined to trade this like a range, shorten the tops and buying the bottoms. I wouldn't want to short at the moment. Because we have had a move up into this. Sometimes, like I say, we'll get a push up sideways and a push out. It'd be kind of like a mirror image. So I would have thought it would go up more than it would come down. But for me, at the moment, I'm kind of treating this as a range. And it has pushed up and come back in. I mean, that can change. It can go higher. So there's always a possibility of something like that. So it may continue up, but at the moment this is more ranging for me. So we've had a channel, a break, 2 pushes to a new low, and a move down. So if you had taken that small risk bar on there, you'd have comfortably made profits. I don't think it was a terrible trade. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. What was it, a point? So I don't think that was a terrible trade. I tend to not buy that first one. I'll wait for a lower high below the EMA. But it would have to be a super trade to get me in because, I'm already up $300 on my accounts. So I would want to be as certain as I could. There's nothing worse than giving profits back. So, yeah, I think this is likely going to come down, but it needs to close below that EMA, really, and then give us that kind of... I would have liked to have seen a second entry long there to trigger and then to come down, but I mean, it could do this. It's certainly feasible, isn't it? But every time we've been up here, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, you can still count that, and this is the 5th time. Every time it's come back. So, but it does look like... But that's what it does sometimes. This is kind of daisy chaining down, isn't it? But then it shot up. So the fact that it's sort of chaining up doesn't mean it'll go up. But it could do so at the moment. I'm just twiddling me thumbs, as we say here in the UK. So I think when it does this, it'll get so far down and then just drop, I think. There's going to be some stops below there, I don't doubt. I've just noticed that, actually. If anybody's interested in that, I've just read that comment. Check out this free psychology. He's another guy from the UK. Check out this free psychology course, FTMO. Really helped me. Also, don't be goal focused. It's everyone is kind of, so it's a good point that. So I'll leave it on there for a second. So it might be worth a look. If ever I see anything, I always make a note of it, or anybody tells me anything, look at this, try this, whatever, I'll always have a look. So FTMO, so I'm never too busy to listen to someone if they're offering me, as far as I'm concerned. If it's free advice, I'll look into it. You never know who you're talking to. See, you might be talking to a seasoned professional who's generally trying to help you, so it's always worth a look. So we're down now below the EMA. So it's just, as I said, just looking more like a range, really. I'm just going to take a quick photo of it. So this is coming down in the channel now. I wouldn't want to go long here. Let me just check I'm not missing something. That's interesting. I still won't want to go long, even if it's bouncing off here, because this is a channel. So it's been a good week for me. Well, a good couple of weeks. I had a week last week. I had about $1,200 per account last week. So $5,000 for a week's good for me. And it started off pretty good as well. I had 3 points yesterday, 3 points today, so I'm up $600, which is what I like to do in a week. If in an ideal world, if I can make 2 winning trades in a week, obviously more if I can, but if I can be the equivalent of up, that's over $2,000 a month, even with a loss. And if you do that per 20 accounts, which you can have with Apex, and potentially copy trade other accounts as well from other prop firms. So the potential's there to earn an absolute ton of money. But it is, the trouble is with me, I've always tried to rush it. I've tried to get to that $2,600 too quick, and I think everybody does. And sometimes you tend to forget. If you just slow down and just let it happen organically, you get there a lot easier and a lot less stressful. We just try and rush. We think, no, let's rush. But sometimes you'll sit back and think, I've spent 12 months trying to rush. If I'd have taken my time, I'd have been there half the time ago. So I think the key is don't try and rush it. Just let it happen naturally. But the trouble is, in this business, we're having our heads filled every single day with that. I'm not trading one at the moment, my funny futures, but I do like them. I found I was just getting a bit confused and swapping over from one to another. But I just thought I'll just focus on these at the moment. But I do like them. They're kind of my next go-to after Apex. Apparently Apex are bringing out straight to funded at some point. I don't know. I think it was Darren Martin mentioned it a few weeks ago. So I would have guessed it would be sooner rather than later. So yeah, the trick is that the trouble is, right from when we start with prop firms, we have our heads filled with people getting paid these large amounts of money, and it's very hard to get blinded by it and just thinking push all the time. When if you start to push and you don't take your time, it's a recipe for disaster. We trade too much. When we panic, we try and take risks. When ultimately, really, I admire people who've got that gift to just follow the rules no matter what. They are out there. I'm not one of them. It's taken me a lot of work to follow the rules and patience. You look back some of my older videos, you can see a completely different trader. I couldn't sit there all day and not take a trade. Now it doesn't bother me in the slightest because, you do learn from screwing up constantly. And you get better and better at knowing where to stay out. And I mean, if I've been trading this market for 3.5 years, the only thing I can think about is what am I going to be like in another 3.5 years? Even better. So you only ever are going to improve. Well, you're going to get better and better with your skill. So it's fun. There's nothing more enjoyable about seeing a trap, not taking it, and seeing it would have gone against you. You feel like you're not completely in the dark. I try to think about what the average salary is, absolutely, and realise we don't. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, my average day, realistically, is around about 2.5 hours on the chart. Sometimes I'll do 3, sometimes I'll do 2, depends what I've done. And I probably do maybe up to an hour of kind of, I say study time. It's kind of relaxed. I get my chart out again, and I just go through it, and I just look at what I missed, look at what I shouldn't have took, look why things bounce. So I spend 15 minutes on my chart a day. That's it. 15, 20 minutes maximum. When I look at Mac's chart, I get mine out as well and have another 10 minutes with him. And then I'll have a look at Marco's chart, which, takes a few minutes, and a couple of others. And that's more or less it. So I would say, let's say half an hour extra a day, 2.5 hours trading. So I would say 3 to 3.5 hours a day maximum. How many jobs? You can't even consider that a part-time job, really, can you? 3 hours a day, 2.5 to 3.5 hours a day, average of 3 hours a day. It's about as easy as life gets, really. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not an easy job. There is quite a bit of stress involved, and you will go through that stage of feeling like you're banging your head against the wall. But if you just stick with it, you'll come out at the other side feeling a lot happier, a lot more relaxed, and it kind of toughens you up. I suppose people have been through, a few relationships breakups. They tend to get a bit tougher. They won't open up. So I think that's kind of how it works with training. It does tough you up, and the losses don't hurt as much, and you kind of just get used to it. I remember, good now, but like Max said, we're having a bad day, any reason, better don't trade. Absolutely. When I started, I had people saying, I can't trade this, I'm done for the day. I could never do that. I had to just sit there. But it does, it will happen, but it happens slowly, and unfortunately no one pays you to learn to trade unless you work with a company. So it's even harder for the likes of us. So when we start to earn money, we actually deserve it a lot more than these institutional guys who have all the wage, the support, the expertise. We don't have none of that. We got to learn off our own backs. So as far as I'm concerned, we deserve it a lot more. But it's nice. I have a daughter who's got ADHD and anxiety, and she spends a lot of time off school, and I'm quite happy that I'm here with her. So I can do those parenting things that I need to, and I can still continue to work on my career. Especially when you're looking outside and there's ice and snow on the ground. There's nothing worse than going out in the dark. I've never enjoyed working for other people. It's not that I'm shy of hard work. I've just never enjoyed working for people. Not that I haven't had some good jobs and I haven't worked for some great bosses. I've worked for some really great people. But I've also worked with some idiots who just do not give a crap about you. They tell you what they want to hear. And they just try and suck the last bit of life out of you. There are companies out there. So I do like the fact that I don't have to answer to anybody. So we had this bounce up here. We thought we counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Chances are it was going to pull back, and it did just that. So we're up here again for the 6th time. Let's see where this goes. But as I say, I wouldn't be shocked if we ended up still around here come 7 o'clock UK time, which is, where are we now? About 2.5 hours. 4 or 5, 6, 2.5 hours-ish. Yeah, he's making some good points, he does. Self-awareness is the first step. I'll stop now. It's very easy that you tell yourself that and you don't. So I do love reading some of this stuff. Yeah, I'm pleased I joined this, actually. For me, see, I love having to chat with you guys, but I can't see any of your charts. So if I don't know what's going on, I'm not sure. I like the fact that I can just have a quick look to my left and see what other people's opinions are of their charts. Thomas Wade's, he's got his exactly the same as mine. And it just, I had a bit of an issue with confidence. Am I reading the charts right? I used to get this guy who used to come in now and again and just say, you're doing it all wrong, you're reading the charts wrong. And, I kind of know in my own mind if I'm looking at Mac's chart and it's the same as mine, but what's his name? Money Max, I used to call him. And I ended up finding, someone said to me, just block him, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I did in the end. And then I decided to, I stopped the comments for a while, then I opened them up. And the first day I opened the comments back up, he was there again. So I had a bit of an issue with confidence, which is part of the reason why I joined this Thomas Wade's. But when I see his chart like that, and when I see my chart like that, it tells me that I don't have a problem reading the charts. It's not rocket science, is it? You know, you can pretty much see what's going on. But sometimes... No. No, Vlad's okay. I haven't had a lot to do with Vlad, but he's okay. A couple of people warned me about him. It's Max and a few numbers. And apparently what he was doing is there was a few people paid him. I think it was Nick Sesto mentioned to me about him, said don't give him any money. He'll contact you or something. He says he's got a forum or a Discord or something. You're trading, you can't do it right, blah, blah, blah. If you pay him money, you join his Discord, and I think that's how they get money out of you. So a couple of people warned me about him. But the trouble is, someone sending you messages, it's telling you you're not doing it right, you're this. Sometimes it can get in your head and mess with you a little bit. I'm a little wiser now. I've been doing it long enough to know now. I've been looking at these charts now, doing this for 3.5 years, so I know if I'm doing it right or I know if I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, sometimes you'll adjust it, but when you've been doing something long enough, you know whether you're doing it right or wrong. But he just, I don't understand apart from the motivation for money, but my guess is people see through through things like that. But no, I haven't had much to do with Vlad, but no, I believe he's a stand-up guy, isn't he? Is this going up, or is it? My guess is it's probably going to continue. But the trouble is with trading, there is so much. You are going to fail so many times, and it's very hard to get that belief that you're going to be able to do it. So, look at that. It's reacting again to the same place. So every time we get up here, it's turning down. We've only been down, well, kind of once, really. I've been going for 2 hours, so I'm going to finish in a minute, I think. I've done my trade for the day. I like to always have kind of a couple of hours, but now and again it's nice to finish a bit early as well when you've had a good day. It is slowing down now, isn't it? I just had to look, have a second glance to see if it's stuck. Okay, I'm going to knock on the head, folks. I have a feeling it's going to just be doing a lot of this. So I'm nicely up, and it's nice to keep that way if you can. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. It's not a terrible day, I don't think. There are, when it's trading like this, it's not terrible. It's enough of a range to be able to make it work. There was a trade there. I left it because it's a little stagnant, but it did work. Channel break, matching low, that worked as well going up. So there doesn't seem to be like any nasty traps around where you may, even if you took that one, it still came down enough. That one worked. The lower high worked. So there wasn't any nasty stuff around. You too, Daryl. You too, mate. So I just hate looking at the chart when I can see trap after trap after trap. That's the only possible one that didn't work. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. I looked at it, but I stayed out in the end, and that wouldn't have worked. But there was that one there. There was the lower high. There was a failure there. You may have taken that one. A second entry short triggered. That one, I don't think it was terrible. It did work in the end, slightly more aggressive. That one, again, slightly more aggressive, I think. High-low would have been better, or the failure, really. But it's not been a terrible day. In fact, it's not been a terrible couple of weeks. Whether things have settled down because of the outcome of the election or not, whether that's got anything to do with it, your guess is as good as mine. So I'm going to leave it there. So best of luck if you count on trading. Failing that, have a great evening, stay safe, and we'll have a chat at the same time tomorrow. Bye for now.